Well, hello everyone, I'm Postmaster Radio, and it's time to bring on the funny. You're listening to Ujokes Weekly, the official podcast highlighting Jonathan Mangum's fantastically funny virtual comedy show Ujokes, where comedians compete for the best joke, plus you guys and gals playing on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. You also have a chance to snag the victory that is the funny crown of comedy. It is literally comedy gold at your fingertips. And today I'm counting down my top 5 jokes from Monday's Ujokes show, Ujokes episode 83 with Colin Sweeney Ariel Elias, and surprise guest Wayne Brady. This is the second time that he has crashed the Ujokes show, but I believe ultimately his 5th appearance on Ujokes, maybe 4th. Hard to keep track these days, but yeah, Wayne Brady is back again, and it was such a great show, a funny one at that. Details coming up, but first, if you missed last week's Ujokes show with Sean Conroy and Kylie Brakeman, you gotta catch up. You could do so via the podcast link in the description. The video is also on the Ujokes YouTube channel. And of course, to continuing listeners, thank you for coming back to the Ujokes podcast. For any newcomers, if this is your first time listening and you happen to be listening from Apple Podcasts or Podchaser, please leave a rating and review if it is not too much trouble. It really does help. And of course, you guys know how we do it here on Ujokes Weekly. The top 5 countdown full of the best jokes from the night. Plus keep listening for the Ujokes Awards full of additional highlights to come. And without further ado, it's time to dive in. At spot number 5 on this week's Ujokes Countdown, we go to Mr. Colin Sweeney for a game called Caption This. For the picture of what I like to call the Elvis Presley trifecta. One sitting, one standing, one in a wheelchair, but all of them talking on the phone. So, how can you caption a pic like that? Well, like I said before, this is where we get to Colin Sweeney.
Are you lonesome tonight? Yes, and yes.
Yeah, it almost sounded like Colin was about to dive into like a romantic song, but then snap back to reality, just like that. In all seriousness though, as an Elvis Presley fan myself, gotta love a good joke like that. Well done, Colin Sweeney. And moving on up to spot number 4 on the Ujokes Countdown, time to get to Let's Make a Deal host and whose line is in any way legend, Wayne Brady, for a game called What's This Invention? And you know how normally I do my for the picture of yada 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 yada? This is one of those I have no idea what the hell I'm looking at pics. So just to save us some time, lady in a bag, looks like a dreidel. Different lady that looks like the same lady that's in the pink dreidel, and yeah, this is not helping. You know what? Just try to visualize that pink bag as best as you can. Good luck with that. And here's Wayne's joke, which may make more sense than whatever I just said.
Obviously, it's the Karen Cloner 2000. because not every Karen has time to complain, so she needs auxiliary units to be able to go out into the world and spread distrust and call the cops and to just make life bad in general.
Excellent answer. Socially biting and yet funny as well.
I'm woke!
Yeah, you know what? It was a miracle that anyone was able to come up with a joke for that thing that... Let's just call it a Karen Cloner. You know what? That's the easy solution. Karen Cloner. And the only other thing I have to say for that joke is, yes, Wayne Brady is indeed woke. No dispute there, I hope. Now moving on to my 3rd favorite joke from the night, spot number 3 on the Ujokes Countdown. Back to the Elvis trifecta from Caption This. Shout out to Kristen Elliott with her joke supporting team audience. I'd like to book a room for the Heartbreak Hotel. Nice one, Kristen Elliott. And still on the Elvis trifecta at spot number 2 on the countdown. Time to shine the spotlight on Miss Ariel Elias.
Elvis has left the building that had cell service.
So that is good on its own, but just before we get to the top spot of the Ujokes Countdown, you may have noticed I told you about the joke from Team Audience, Ariel's joke, and Colin's joke from this game. What about Wayne Brady? Well, the long story of it is because, well, let's just say, you know that Elvis in the wheelchair? Wayne, good point from him, no joke about somebody in a wheelchair should come out of one comedian's mouth. So for that reason, and also combining that with Ariel's joke, what else could Wayne do?
You know, I honestly can't think of anything better than Ariel's.
Oh, what?
Yeah, so it's no wonder Wayne switched sides for that caption this game to Team Ariel. I'm with you on that, Wayne. Kind of hard to compete with Ariel's Elvis has left the building cell service joke, so I think it's safe to say Wayne made a good call on that. Now that only leaves us with one question. What was my favorite joke from the night? And who had that joke? Well, not Wayne, not Colin, not Ariel, but team audience. Specifically, last show's best. What do I mean by that? Well, as sad as it is, not everyone can compete on Ujokes Live. Why? Maybe because of life, who knows. But the important thing is, if you missed this week's Ujokes show, what you can do is type in your joke still for one of the games or more in the YouTube comment section or wherever you're playing from, really. You can also take part, if you would like to, in the Ujokes mini games, which, if there are any for the week, you will find them on Jonathan's Facebook page, not to mention the community tab of the Ujokes YouTube channel. Jonathan and his producer Josh will look through all of the jokes, and whoever has that joke that Jonathan and Josh are like, oh yeah, I love this one, no dispute, that person gets to compete on the next Ujokes show, which, by the way, is coming up on Monday, July 19th at 6 p.m. Pacific Time, 9 Eastern, and that person gets to compete in the final round of the night against the pros and against Team Audience, which is crazy. And this week's Last Show's Best, none other than Josh Bagley, a member of the I've Been Last Show's Best 5 Times Club, as well as that club's sole member / founder, if I'm not mistaken. And first of all, let me just say, kudos to Josh Bagley, who may arguably be number one when it comes down to time management and priorities, because he was in the middle of a softball game. I won't give you the full story, but long story short, he was in the middle of a softball game, and there was just a timeout so Josh can compete on Ujokes. How crazy is that? And though his Starship Pooper submission for last week's Name the Movie game was definitely a successful bid for him to be Last Show's Best, I gotta give the top spot to the joke that he had as part of the game Show of Bands. Once again, another pick in which I have no idea what the hell is going on. I can only tell you there's just a man, woman, and an elderly woman, possibly a lumberjack / hillbilly scene in which somebody had too much crack. I have no idea. The important thing is, based on that pick, you gotta come up with the name of the band and that band's album cover. And Josh's joke, as always, validates the fact that he is not to be underestimated on Ujokes.
This band is Peter, Paul, and Married My Sister. The album name is Choppin' Woody. It was a one-hit wonder.
Oh!
Love it.
Josh is bringing it like it always does.
Yeah, pretty hard to beat a guy like Josh Bagley. So that's that for the Ujokes countdown. Oh, but before we go to the Ujokes Awards, something I forgot to mention, and Jonathan has mentioned this too, because in the couple of shows that came before this week's, there have been some people who have won Last Show's Best, but have been unable to compete. Just as a friendly little note, and I can tell you this as an absolute fact because I have been Last Show's Best twice myself. If you do win the title and you are able to compete on July 19th's Ujokes show, you will get the game and the pick in advance, so you will have time to think of your joke. No pressure whatsoever. Except to win and beat Team Audience, which, not an easy feat to do. But anyway, now it's time to go on to the Ujokes Awards, which is like the Oscars, but something worth actually listening to. And for Comedian of the Week, that is the first of the 4 awards. Toughy. But then again, it's always a tough call. Yeah, screw it. Sorry, Colin. Sorry, Ariel, but Wayne Brady takes it just because it was an unexpected surprise. We didn't know we were going to see Wayne until the show started, so that's why I'm giving it to him. Although, great job to both of you. This decision really was not an easy one. I'm not lying about that. You know what? I'm also not lying about the fact that the Game of the Week, the second award for the Ujokes Awards, is Caption This. and this was actually a very easy decision because of the Elvis trifecta pick, and something that does not happen very often on Ujokes. Every joke from that game was on fire, even with Wayne Brady deferring to Ariel Elias. So no dispute there. Caption This is the game of the week. And there's also no dispute about this one, the Audience Award. Mr. I've appeared on Ujokes 5 times, and I mean that in the nicest way possible, my man Josh Begley. You have won the Audience Award this time around, especially because of your Peter, Paul, and Marry My Sister with the Lumberjacks one-hit wonder. No dispute there. Well done, Josh. And as for the Mangum Moment, the award that shines the spotlight on Jonathan Mangum, Ujokes show host. I know he doesn't get to play along in the games officially because he is the Ujokes host, but I gotta give it to the joke he had for Caption This, the Elvis trifecta. So much for a little less conversation. And if you don't know what that joke means, then clearly you're not that big of an Elvis Presley fan. Anyway, with that being said, that is it for the Ujokes Awards, but a couple of final announcements to make before I wrap up this week's episode of Ujokes Weekly. First, I wanted to officially make the announcement that as of a couple of weeks ago, and Jonathan, I can't thank you enough for giving me this opportunity. Just call me now Mr. Associate Producer of Ujokes. I'm doing some work for that show and a little bit for FMK Champs as well. You know, that show hosted by college humorist Carolyn Page. With that in mind, though, combining with that plus everything else going on in my life right now, it does mean that I will have to move the Ujokes podcast. In other words, new episodes of Ujokes Weekly will now be released on Wednesdays instead of Tuesdays. But this will actually be for the best because I was thinking of getting you guys more involved in the Ujokes podcast, and you know how I'm going to do that? You get to participate in the Ujokes Awards. So with every Monday night's Ujokes show, I will leave it up to you to cast your votes for Comedian of the Week and Game of the Week. You can even submit in your thoughts and comments on the Ujokes show for a shout out on the Ujokes podcast. Now, if you do need more details about that, just let me know on Twitter and Instagram at Postmaster Radio, but I'll explain more after this coming Monday's Ujokes show. I also want to tell you, if you want more Ujokes fun, go to ujokes.com, the official Ujokes website, created by Ujokes fanatic Craig in the UK. Again, that's ujokes.com. And going back to FMK Champs, hosted by college humorist Carolyn Page, new episode of that, also on the Ujokes YouTube channel, that's coming up tonight at 7 Pacific, 10 Eastern. And don't forget this Friday, High Jokes Score, Jonathan's newest comedy show. Now you have a chance to win $25 every week, but you have to be at the top of the High Joke Score leaderboard, and after 4 weeks, you'll get $50 if you're still at the top of the leaderboard, plus another $50 for a charity of your choice. And after 6 seasons or 6 months worth of sessions, the single best joke, whoever submitted that, for all of the High Joke Score episodes, out of every joke submitted for every High Joke Score episode, the single best joke, that person gets 250 buckaroos for themselves. So if you're joining High Joke Score late, still type in your jokes for past sessions, and you'll be good to go. If you need more information, just tune in to this Friday's High Joke Score episode. Jonathan will explain it all then. And with that being said, that is it for this week's Ujokes podcast. That's all for today on Ujokes Weekly. Thank you for tuning in. I hope you had a fantastic time. Make sure to stay connected with me on Twitter and Instagram at Postmaster Radio, and to stay connected with my Ujokes podcast, all you gotta do is like, subscribe, comment, rate, and review on the Apple and Google podcast platforms, Spreaker, Spotify, YouTube, iHeartRadio, Castbox, Deezer, Podcast Addict, and Podchaser. The account links are all in the description. Thank you again for tuning in, and until next time, well, bye for now. See ya!